Well, I'm just waiting here at the moment. I appear to be on my own. I have nobody watching. I'll give it a little bit longer. If nobody joins me, I will cancel the live stream and go and get on with a few jobs on the boat which need doing. Oh, we've got somebody in the stream at last. I was thinking I was talking to myself. I was wondering if it was working. Hello, Karen. Can you let me know you can hear and see me? Hello, Lee. Someone just send me a message if you can hear or see me. Thank you very much, Karen. Appreciate that. No, it's always something you always worry about. You're chatting to yourself. I can see there's a big glare on the screen where we're here somewhere. I'm going to go and shut the curtains in the galley just to stop that. Well, it's a bit better, isn't it? I've got light coming in through the side window here. Perhaps those curtains need drawing as well. I think that's a bit better, isn't it? But it's not. Apologies. I've got my spotlights on, so they normally make things a little bit better. Right, who have we got in the chat? Loud and clear, fantastic. Thank you, Karen. Thank you, Lee. Picture's good as well. Always a bit worried about here. Nice and sunny. It is at the moment. 5 minutes ago, it was absolutely hammering it down. But there's were a few heavy showers today, and they've been on and off. A few very light showers as well, by the way. So anyway, yeah. Well, of course, I did say we'd have a beer as well, didn't I? So, today's beer of choice comes courtesy of Mark. He sent me these a while ago now, and we're having the old Taddy Porter. Oh, first one today. Right. Oh, hello, Dave. Dave's here as well. New cam, doing you getting used to. Yeah, I am getting used to it. Yeah, it's the GoPro 8, and now I've got the GoPro 12. Are two completely different bits of kit, really. They work so differently; it's unbelievable. I'm still getting used to using the what they call the what's it called? It's the clip which goes around the camera with the microphone on. Media frame, what's that? It's called. Um, it's absolutely brilliant if you're talking towards the front of the camera. If you're talking from behind, it has no pickup in the rear of the microphone. It's very omnidirectional. It's very just one directional. So it's a little bit difficult. Having to stand right behind the camera like this and basically shout at it so it picks up some sound. I'll get used to it. I'm not too keen on using the lapel microphones. They cut off basically all other sound, so all you hear is basically anything near me. And I don't really like that either because it's nice to hear the birds in the background and everything going on like that. I think anyway. I'm just checking the chat. I have to get close. No, even with my glasses on, I can't see it very close up. Anyway, it's time for a slurp. It's time for a slurp, Slurpy Dave. Oh, very nice. Right. Well, why is there not a cruising video today? Was the main reason why I thought I'd do this live stream. Well, not yesterday, it was a couple of days ago now. was the first time I'd moved the boat, really, to say I'd moved it for quite some time. I've been sitting around the same area. A friend of mine who lives near Wheelock, he has been coming over and he's been helping me do a couple of little jobs on the boat. And one of those jobs, well, and the main job, what he's been coming over for, we've come over to, is getting hot water for free, basically. I'm Now I've got the extra solar panels. I have an awful lot of power at the end of the day, or by lunchtime. My batteries are full, and the power's got nowhere to go, so you just lose it. So I'm putting in what's basically called a solar dump. Well, it's not sort of dumping it. What it is doing is excess power. Once my batteries are full, will switch over the power I've got coming off the solar panels and heat an immersion heater up in my water tank, or clarifier as they're called on a boat. It's a water tank. So that's the plan at the moment. I'm still doing it. The immersion, because I wanted to put a 200-watt one in, and there was a hole there for an immersion, but it's very small. So I've had to get one which was hard to get hold of, shall we say, and it's taken like a couple of weeks to get the immersion to do it with. Now I could get a 300-watt one quite easily, but what I was thinking is I'll go for a 200-watt one, because during the summer months I've always got more than 200 watts of excess power, which is about 16.6 amps. And days like the day when it's been cloudy most of the time, I still get that 16.6 amps most of the day long, if I needed it. Obviously now the sun's just come back out. I'm showing about 2.5 amps coming in, because that's just basically running my laptop now. That's basically all it's doing. My laptop's plugged into the 240-volt system, and the immersion's on. The inverter's on. And of course, the fridge freezer's running as well. So it's just keeping me ticking over, really. And also for the wiring and everything, going for something heavier, bigger, I would need to get heavier, juicy wiring and everything I had. So the wiring I've got is rated at 29 amps. That's what the manufacturer's stamp on it says anyway. And at 16.6 amps, obviously, I'm good to go. And if I've gone up to a 300 watts rather, immersion, that would require 25 amps. Now, I'm not always getting 25 amps coming in on cloudy days, so it meant it'd be using more out of the batteries to actually run it. And anyway, I'm doing a video on it, so I'll explain how it all works, or try to, in the video. It's all new to me, so this is definitely not going to be a how-to video. It's a how I did it video, watching lots of other people's videos and taking out the best bits I thought from them. One thing some people do say is to put the takeoff before the batteries, from the solar side and not from the battery side. Well, that's all good and dandy, but if I'm only getting, say, 15 amps coming in, it wouldn't switch on the water heater. Where if I've got 15 amps coming in over the top of what I need, I'm quite happy to take a little bit out of the batteries until the batteries get down to a certain level, and then stop again and let the solar recharge the batteries. Which, to be honest with you, if it's just coming down a fraction at a time, it's going to last for ages. But then probably the water will be hot anyway before it will cut off. So there is going to be a temperature sensor in there for on and off, obviously, and also a voltage meter, which will read when the voltage is probably 14.4 volts. I'm going to set it at, so it'll kick in at 14.4 volts. And if my batteries get down to, I don't know, let's say 13 volts, I'm going to play around with it, see what works best. And so it would take a little bit out of the batteries if need be, if I haven't got quite enough solar. But normally I've got 200 watts of solar coming in, no trouble at all. So it shouldn't be a problem. So that's why I went for the lower one, and also it'll give me a longer ratio across the course of the year. Probably from March to September, I can get that amount of ampage coming in. It was a sunny day, so it'll give me free hot water for a longer period rather than just perhaps 2 or 3 months in the summer. Anyway, I'm doing a video on all that, so we can come up with that again later. And people are in the chat here. I've got you got Cam yourself. That new Cam to do new good videos. So good for you, Lee. What's the pubs like in Stockton Heath? Oh, Stockton Heath. There's a brewery in Stockton Heath. The same brewery that I went to, and I can't think of the name of it now, that is in right out there. Where is it? It's a beautiful little Lim. The brewery I did the walk to Lim, their main brewery is in Stockton Heath. I can't think of the name of it off the top of my head. So that would be well worth a walk to, because they have a tap room there as well. So I believe it's a bigger tap room than the one at Lim, and they do more of their beers there. So that would be well worth a visit. But besides that, I never went to the pub in Stockton Heath. I walked down to, I think it was Lidl or Aldi or something, did some shopping, and moved on the next day. So I don't really know Stockton Heath very well. Yes, I always keep it cranking, Lee. So, yeah, I'll keep it beer drink. I was thirsty. So today I was actually putting in a lot of the wiring all through the boat for the immersion. So yeah, it's Drinkies Booze time. And I was watching the Formula One qualifying, because the first session there was a red flag and it ran late. It should have been finishing by 4 o'clock, and I never saw the last section of the qualifying. So nobody tell me what the result is, please, in the chat, because after this I'll go back and watch it on catch up. Yeah, so I thought, well, I don't know what you guys think about. We've obviously just had an election here in the UK. I don't know what you think about either side, but I lost my faith in the Tories a long time ago. But as for a Labour Party coming in, it looks scary to me. Yeah, anyone that's got any money in their bank account might not have for much longer. And they're talking about taxing pensions as well. Well, my pension's not very much anyway. And if they start taxing me on it, I don't know what they're thinking about. I've earned that pension. That pension tax was paid on that pension when I earned it. Yeah, and there's double taxing, if you ask me, on the same money. So I'm not very happy about that. Yeah, so, and a lot of other things I'm not very happy about. I won't get too deep into things today. I just wanted to mention I couldn't vote, so I don't have an address, so I couldn't vote. I have no permanent address, so obviously, I could obviously, if I was anywhere near my parents' house at the moment, I could have used their address and gone and voted local there. But I'm not there, so it was pointless putting me down for living in there. But if I could have voted, I would let you know that right now I would have voted Reform. I don't think the Reform is the end answer to everything, but they're an awful lot better than the other options, in my opinion. But that's my opinion. So if anyone wants to argue about my opinion, you're more than welcome to. but please give me a reason why you think you're right and you think I'm wrong. Does that make sense? Yeah. So yeah, I don't really have that much to chat about. So totally agree, Christopher. Totally agree. But whether we get there, because I'm not sure the establishment will allow it to happen. I believe the only decent prime minister we've had in a long, long time was Liz Truss. She had all the right ideas, but the establishment didn't like it, so the Bank of England brought her down. They just short sold loads of bonds, devastated the economy on purpose to bring her down. So I think she was one of the few prime ministers in recent years that's had sensible policies. But of course, you can't go against the establishment. They will destroy you. And I don't know if you know, but the Bank of England has got nothing to do with the government. The Bank of England's a private company that has their. It's been probably controlled by other people, shall we say? Yeah, they decided they didn't like her. Everything was against her. Um, I think some of her policies were absolutely fantastic. Actually, I think that's exactly what the country needed to actually get some injection back into this country. But she was on about building houses and all this, and making more houses, bring the cost of living, bring the cost of housing down. Well, there's no way the banking industry is going to allow that to happen. They can't make no money if the houses come down in value, can they? So the number of houses you keep hearing, they got to build. Was it supposed to have to build now? One house every 2 minutes just to house the new arrivals coming into the country. Well, they're not going to do that, are they? You can't build one house every 2 minutes. Well, you probably could if you really tried, but they don't want that. If they build about one house every 4 minutes, that keeps all the prices up. So people make a lot of money in the banks. They don't want to sell you a mortgage for 100 grand if they can sell you a mortgage for 500 grand. So that's all, the way I see it anyway. Yeah, what was I going to say? I was going to say something else about that as well. Go on, have a drink. Yeah, yeah. The banks these days, and the people that own the banks run the world. Every country's the same. Absolutely, every country's the same. Le Pen gets in France shortly. You watch what the banks will do to her. It'll be just the same. They don't like the right wing governments. They'll bring her down. They did it in Greece. They've done it to Meloni in Italy. They will do it to Le Pen in France. And unfortunately, if Nigel gets in the next election, they'll do it to Nigel as well. They want open borders. They want everybody to be able to go everywhere, and they want to control you. They want all your money. But that's my belief anyway. So more than willing, or more than argue me. But if you're going to argue, give me a reason why. Because if you can't tell me a reason why, it's just I don't think so. So that's not an argument. I don't mind a discussion on something or an argument on something, but just I don't think so is no argument. That's my opinion anyway. Well, it has gone completely nuts, and yeah, it's been doing it for a long time. I noticed things going wrong a long time ago. Unfortunately, it's taken a long time. They were so sneaky about it over many years. Now they do it in plain sight, so it's become obvious. If you don't notice it's obvious now, well, you're obviously you're asleep. What else can we say? You're asleep. Yeah. So, anyways, any questions out there? Because I didn't really come on with an awful lot to talk about. I just thought perhaps people might want to ask me a few questions. Oh, I know what I was talking about, wasn't I? Why I hadn't filmed for a long time. Because I haven't moved the boat for a long time. Because as I was trying to say, I've been doing these bits and pieces. I didn't want to get too far away from Wheelock, so it's too far for Sim to drive and come and see me. No, he's helping me out. But I should get it all done by Tuesday, I believe. It should be finished and up and done. So then I'll be back to cruising again. So there'll be cruising videos coming out. I did actually film a little bit coming from where was I? Barlston to here, and I'm at Stone now, or on the outskirts of Stone. I did film doing that, coming down the 4 locks to get here. But it's not a video, if you know what I mean. It's just not a video there. I need to get down at least the next 4 locks into Stone to really make it a proper video. So yeah, I should probably do that for next Saturday. So I'll have a video for next Saturday. I do have a video for this Wednesday. It was another DIY job I'd done on the boat. That was quite a simple little one. It was changing the tap washer, in the hot tap. Now I'm putting in all this new hot water system. I didn't need that hot tap dripping, so it's been like it for a while. But yeah, I got around to changing the tap washer a couple of 3 days ago. So that's another little job done. One of the reasons why I hadn't done it for ages and ages and ages was I tried to undo it. The brass bit, you take the top of the tap off the handle and all that. And I tried to undo the brass bit and I couldn't hold the tap steady and turn the handle. It was just too tight. Suddenly one day, brain idea, I need an iron pipe or something to put over the tap itself so I'd hold it steady while I turn it, or a big wrench or whatever. I don't have that. And I think, well, I don't have any iron pipe that'll go over the top of it. Well, then suddenly, out of the blue, I suddenly thought, the tiller handle, my tiller arm, that's brass, will it fit over the tap? Yes, it did. So I slotted that on, undone it straight away. Yeah, so, yeah, think outside the box sometimes. The only way to go. But yeah, so that was a little job I did during the week. But besides that, I haven't done very much. Well, I've done lots of little jobs on the boat. I haven't filmed a few of them. They've been silly little things, and some of them have been jobs which you couldn't really film. You couldn't get a camera in there very easily and do the job at the same time. So, and they were a bit boring things like, well, I did sweep the chimney on the fire. I took all the grates out and cleaned it all and done the fire black and all this sort of thing. So I've done a few little jobs here and there, but they're all messy jobs, and I didn't think it's worth getting the camera out for. I know some of you perhaps thought, oh, I'd like to see that, but you try filming inside the fire when you're trying to clean it all out on the inside and things like that. Yes, I've been sooting my camera and ruining the camera, I expect. So, any questions, people? I've come on to do an answer and question sort of thing, but I can't see much in the way of questions here. I'm just going back through all the chat here in case I've missed anything. I can't see anything down here I've missed. So I don't really have much more to chat about unless you've got any questions. No, I've turned round. I'm heading south again at the moment, Karen. Main reason for that is I have my boat booked in to be blacked in October. Now, I can go the quicker way now, but back in the time when I turned round, it was when the landslide was at gee whiz, my brain is definitely gone today, isn't it? On the Oxford Canal, the North Oxford Canal, where the landslide was there, where the canal got closed off through the cutting there. It begins with B, doesn't it? I can't remember. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Where that was, I didn't know if I'd be able to go that way. So when I turned around, I thought I'm going to have to go the long way around, which is all the way down the River Trent, back up the Saw navigation, Leicester Line, and Grand Union Canal, back onto the Oxford Canal. Oh, because I'm getting my boat blacked at Newbold. So I had to get my boat back to Newbold. So that's why No, I haven't done the whole network. There's still a lot of places I would like to go to. I can't. Well, there's a few places I won't go on to at the moment. I don't have an anchor, and I don't have navigation lights, so I'm a bit hesitant to do rivers without an anchor. Without the navigation lights, I'm not so worried about because I wouldn't do them in night time anyway. But there's, I definitely need an anchor if I'm going to do like the tidal Trent, or even if I go down the River Severn, because that goes up and down so blooming quickly there. You might need to anchor off. So yeah, I, and of course those places take you to other places. So until I spend out the money and get an anchor and possibly navigation lights, which aren't expensive anyway, it's the anchor and the anchor chain and the anchor rope, which costs a lot of money. The anchor itself is less expensive than the chain and the rope. Talking about, because this is a heavy boat, so I need quite a big anchor, and obviously a heavy duty chain, about 20 feet of it, and I don't know, 50, well, they recommend 50 meters of rope, is it? 20 meters of rope, 25 meters of rope, I think it is. So I get all that done, to buy all that, yes, I'm not going to be doing the rivers. Uh, I've got a few other things first I want to do on the boat for comfort for me on the boat before I do things for the boat, like for moving the boat to different places. Really, I need to, well, things like the blacking on the boat, and I've been saving up to get that done. I've put in a new cooker in the boat because my oven didn't work on the other one, so I put a new cooker in, and I put a new refrigerator in because that was well, it was used so much electric, it was ridiculous. So all the sill was broken on it, and I couldn't get a new sill for it. It was an old Shoreline fridge, and they didn't do the exact one for that model anymore. They said they had one that would sort of fit, but it was 80 odd quid for a sill, and it was sort of fit. You might have to cut it to fit it. Well, I'm not doing that, so I ended up by buying a new refrigerator as well. So any money I've managed to get together in the last few months, since I've retired and got my pension coming in, it's all been spent on the boat. Every penny's been spent on the boat. So yeah, so it's it, as I say, boat bring out another 1,000. It's not quite that bad, but I've spent a lot of money on the boat. I've upgraded all my solar panels. Now I've got 720 watts of solar. When I did that, I had to upgrade all the cable as well because I didn't have a large enough square mil cable on it. I'd up it to 6 square mil cable from 4 square mil cable for the back end of it. I had to put in a new MPPT controller because the other one would only handle 30 amps, so I had to put a 60 amp MPPT controller in, change all the cable into the batteries. Yeah, it was a lot of things to do. So yeah, a lot of money being spent on the boat this year. Basically, any penny that's come in has gone straight back out again. I've managed to get to a pub a couple of times, but yeah, and that going to the pub a couple of times has been the courtesy of some great people out there. Mark Hale, for one, sent me money to go. Well, I was supposed to have gone. He wanted me to go to, and I wanted to go to the brewery at Burleston, Titanic. But when I came through there, number one, it was raining hard when I was at the lake, and it's about a 2 mile walk from the lake, from Westport Lake, and I wasn't going to walk 2 miles there in the rain and back. Just be uncomfortable to be there, wouldn't it? You'd never be comfortable when you get there, so just soaking wet and everything. So I wasn't going to walk from there, and I thought I'll stop opposite Middleport Pottery because that's the shortest walk, and there's about more in there for about 5 boats. Well, every morning was taken up, and I've been heard on the grapevine. Once you go past there, you don't want a more for the next about a mile because it looks perfectly okay, but apparently it's not so good along there, so I didn't moor along there. I just kept going, and if I'd have been moored there just overnight and been on the boat, I probably wouldn't have worried so much because I've been on the boat and I could have protected the boat perhaps if someone come along. But as I was going to walk off the boat and leave the boat for 2 or 3 hours while I was gone, it's about half an hour walk there at least, and time you're there for an hour or so, another half an hour walk back. Yeah, it was. I didn't want to leave the boat. So anyway, I didn't go to Titanic Brewery. Still on the cards to do one day when I come back up this way. So I went to. You've probably seen the video if you watched my videos. The one. Oh gee, was the Wholly Inadequate at Etruria, which was absolutely wonderful. They brew that, they had about 5 beers of their own on in the pub. I tried 3 of them, which were absolutely excellent. But yeah, so that came from the courtesy of Mark, which I think he enjoyed as well. So I don't think you're in here, are you, Mark? I haven't seen you in here. So yeah, so that was good news. That happened, and the Wholly Inadequate was good. And I walked up to the other part of the village at Barlston, and I went into the pub there, which I had a couple of good pints in there as well, which is the Duke of York. So yeah, that's a couple of beers I've had recently, but otherwise it's the odd one on the boats. Yeah, can't afford to keep going to the pub if you if you keep spending the money on the boats. I just say to myself, it's money well spent. Oh, favourite beer. I've got a few which all come pretty close together. They're all dark beers. I like this Taddy Porter, but it's not going to be. It's not my favourite. It's a nice beer, but it's not my favourite. One of my favourites, which is an American beer, it's called Dragon's Milk, and it's by the New Holland Brewery in northern Michigan. And the Titanic, the Plum Porter, the reserve one, which I had a bottle of when I did a beer tasting on the here, that is absolutely fantastic as well. I mean, that is the two are actually very, very good. And their cherry porter was pretty good, but I must admit I prefer the plum porter. And to be honest with you, when I went to the Wholly Inadequate, it's never dark beer, but it's a mild, and the mild is normally, it's a bit milds were normally a low alcohol, but good flavour beer. Well, theirs is 4.5% alcohol, so it's not a low alcohol beer. It was absolutely wonderful. As a mild, it's probably one of the best milds I've ever had, and I've always been partial to a good mild. And their roundhouse stout was very drinkable as well. It didn't come quite into comparison to the Titanic or the New Holland beer, but still very, very good. So to actually say my favourite, very, very difficult. There's a lot of very, very good beers out there, and I come across new good beers all the time. So yeah, I sort of have a clutch of beers which are up here, not particularly one that's an actual favourite. It's more of a style of beer. I like dark beers. Most of the dark beers I like. I don't like lager. I just never liked lager in my life. No alcohol, sacrilege. Well, they've all got alcohol in. I don't drink non-alcoholic beer. I don't see the point of it. I might as well drink it. I'd just rather have a glass of water as non-alcoholic beer. Why pay exactly the same amount or more in some cases for a non-alcoholic beer as a real one? I just don't get it. I don't get it. If I'm going to drink non-alcoholic beer, I'll get a glass of water. No, I didn't. I said low alcoholic. They used to be low alcoholic, not non-alcoholic. They used to be about 3 or 4%, the old milds. Now they seem to be about 4.5%, so they've come up in strength. Not non-alcoholic. Don't do that, Karen. I've never drunk a non-alcoholic beer in my life, I don't think. Oh, I did actually once. I tried one once. But I didn't actually by mistake. Oh, it was years ago. It was one made by Guinness, but it wasn't like Guinness. It was can't remember what it was called. I saw I got a new beer there. Talking to the guy who ran the social club where I used to work. So yeah. He said, I said, I'll try one of those new beers. And I was drinking. I said, I don't like this. I'm never going to order this again. I said, it doesn't taste of anything. It's well, it's non-alcoholic. I said, duh. No wonder I don't like it. Lee there. Yeah, it's all right, Karen. No problem at all, Karen. Yeah, I just yeah, me and non-alcoholic beer. I don't see the point of them. Hey, you're here, Mark. Your ears must have been burning. I just mentioned you. Going to meet some YouTube that canal boat on 18th of July. Will vid out on my channel, okay? I will keep cranking it. Okay, well, enjoy yourself, Lee. Yeah, yeah. So Mark's just made it into the room, or he's been hiding and not saying anything. I've run out of things to talk about. So come on, guys, give me something to talk about. Give me a suggestion. I can't talk too much politics. Yeah, late on parade, Mark. Yeah, so I don't want to talk too much politics. I don't want to bore people with my political views too much. With some American friends in the chat. Uh, how's Sleepy Joe doing these days? Yeah, I did see the parliamentary debate. Well, if you could call it a debate. Use the YouTube I go to meet on 18th of July. I don't get you there, Lee. Joe's hanging in there. Yeah, I don't know why. He would really do his party a favour, wouldn't he, by standing down? But there you go. There you go. Oh, by the way, Mark, you weren't here at the start. Beer of choice tonight. You might recognise that one. Yes, it is one of the ones that you got for me. And the glass needs topping up. And the glass I'm drinking out of. Right. I can't read it without my glasses on. Right. Well, if nobody's got anything to talk about, I've run out of things to talk about. I'm. You can get Taddies over there. Oh, yeah, nice glass. Yeah, you know where that came from, huh? That's good, isn't it? With the black beer in there, or the dark coloured beer, and the white. That looks good. It's not quite the same as the Goose Island bourbon. That's a little bit special, but 14 odd percent. It should be, shouldn't it? And I've run out of them. Yeah, I think I'm going to bring the stream to an end. I've run out of things to talk about. Oh, it froze there, didn't it? I've run out of things to talk about, and yeah, unless anyone's got any questions you want to throw at me, um, I'm going to leave it at that. So I've got a video coming out on Wednesday, which will be on. If you're on Patreon, it'll be on Patreon this afternoon or this evening. Actually, it might be tomorrow by the time I get the everything finished on it. It might be tomorrow morning. I've got a couple of things I want to do this evening, so it might be tomorrow morning. A couple of things I didn't get done. I had to stop to do the live stream, so I want to get on and do them before it gets dark. Oh, excuse me. I didn't mess you up. The Goose Island messed you up. Especially when you bought 4 of them and drank all 4 at once, didn't you? Yeah. The Goose Island they're port stouts, aren't they? Bourbon barrel stouts. Yeah. They range between about 14.2 and 14.7% alcohol. They're absolutely wonderful. But I have them as a sippy beer, not a glug 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 beer. If you drink one, is you're doing well. Yeah, they are. Dragon's milk comes close. I like dragon's milk. Yeah. No, another excellent beer. See, I used to always this is the thing I tell people when I first moved to America. I thought America had the worst beer in the blooming world because it was all Busch Light, Bud Light, and everything light you could think of, which I didn't like any of them. And then all these microbreweries started popping up, making things like bourbon barrel beers. You know, the Goose Island and the Dragon's Milk, and loads of others around the country. You know, and some of these real strong IPAs and all that sort of thing. Dominatrix, there's a good IPA from Hellstorm Brewing. That comes in silly amounts as well. I think it's about 11%. So yeah, some real good beers out there. Yes, and when Riverhawk Brewing was going, and they made a quad IPA, and that was like 10. No, I think it was about 12% alcohol. That was really, really good, especially after they aged it in their wine barrels. That came out absolutely fantastic. And they made, of course, there was also Trevor's Mild they made as well, which was named after me. Not just to get a dig in there. But yeah, I would say today that some of the best beers in the world are now made in America. So that's a bit of a change around from me over the course of the last 20 years, from going saying there were some of the worst to some of the best. But that's what happens with progress. But yeah, you do need if it hadn't been for the microbreweries, it would never have happened, obviously, because the big boys were quite happy brewing their water and selling, gallons of it rather than going for quantity rather than quality. And I much prefer quality over quantity. And this is going down very nicely. This is, as I say, the Taddy Porter. And this is just 5% alcohol. That's quite quite nice to sit down and have a drink and not get too wasted when you're trying to talk live to your camera on your laptop. So anyway, guys, I'm running out of things to talk about. I'm really just muttering on now. Yeah, well, the late 90s, I didn't really know. When did I get to the US? 2005, I got to the US, and there was one in Morris, Illinois at the time, at the old fire station, but that closed 2 weeks or 3 weeks after I got there. And then I didn't know of another one for quite some time. It was probably about 3 years, 2 to 3 years thereafter. Well, actually, no, it's not true, really, because there were some others around, but they were one hell of a drive. I can't even remember. I did actually drive to a couple of them. But the trouble is, if you're just driven 70 miles to go and have a pint of beer, that's about all you can have is a pint of beer. So you've got to drive home. Yeah, that used to be the biggest bind. Drive, no, up around on the west side of Chicago, there were a few doctors around. And I actually did visit a few of them. But as I say, they were 70, 80, 90 miles away. One of them was I drove to. 90 miles to get a pint of beer. Who would do that in the UK? Yeah, a couple of, I can't even remember the name of some of those breweries now. I'm going back best part of 20 years ago when I went there, 18 years ago anyway. Yeah, yeah, they did, definitely, around St. Paul. Also over in Oregon, what's the name of the city, Oregon? Portland. There's a lot of breweries started up around Portland in Oregon as well. So I understand. I could be wrong. But yeah, that's what I heard when I was there. I never went to any in Oregon, I must admit. Yeah, I am right, am I? Yeah, I did drive through Oregon once, but that was just through a little. Then it just caught the corner of it as well. Didn't get towards the coast. Yeah, did a lot of driving when I was in America. Now I don't do any. Haven't been behind the wheel of a car since January the 28th, 2000. Was the last time I drove a car. Don't miss it even anymore. I'm quite happy without a car. Yeah, don't miss it at all. Basically, these days, if I can't walk there, I don't go there, or get my boat there anyway. So actually, it was on about earlier on about me going down to Newbold. I was on about going down Newbold to get the boat back. Well, that's still on, of course. I'm still going to be doing that, but I'm still going to go the long way round. So I'm going to go all the way down the River Trent and then come up the River Soar and around. I'm going to do the long way round to get there. Because I should have plenty of time to do it. So yeah, be nice. Go. I've got some friends on the Airwash Canal up at Long Eaton, and I should pop up there to Long Eaton. It's only an hour or so from the River Trent, 2 hours perhaps by the time I do the locks. Go up there and have a night or two up there, see them, and say hello. It's Joe and Jack. If they happen to see this, I'm on my way. I told you I'll be back somewhere. Yeah, so yeah, so I'm just now waffling. I'm pretty sure you just don't want to hear me waffling. So I'll bring this to an end. It's been great having you all here. I really appreciate you all joining me. As I say, hopefully from Wednesday onwards, we'll be back with regular Saturday and Wednesday videos. Now I'll be on the move again. When I'm cruising again, I'll be obviously doing cruising videos again, and I'll have some stuff to put out there. This Wednesday's already done, and next Wednesday is going to be on me fitting my solar dump. So yeah, so well, I guess I ought to end it the old traditional way, haven't I? So thank you very much for watching. Trevor out. I'll find the end stream button. Take care, all.